So Peter, you're painting away quite studiously. I'm just going to interrupt you briefly. Carry on painting, and we'll chat a little bit more about how you approach your paintings, how you go about finding the way to start to put paint onto canvas. I think for most people it's translating the idea and the image that you've seen as an artist, and then that sort of first step into it, really.
Yeah, it's what I do is I sort of have an idea where I'm going to be working, and I wander around, and I don't actually know what the image is going to be. Sometimes I have a rough enough idea, but I want to go out and find something that excites me, that means something to me. Then I can settle down and start thinking about how I'm going to approach it, what size canvas or
what would translate well.
What's going to work as a painting.
So if I'm very cheekily do this, when you're faced with that as an artist, how does that feel? I'd find that quite scary.
Well, it is at this stage. Funny enough, for me, at the early stages are the easiest stages.
Yeah.
Because you've got this vision in your mind, and you want to have a go, and you're going to set it all out. And you get the preliminary drawing, and nothing's too much of a worry.
No.
It's when you start getting to this stage that you're having to tighten things up, that you feel that this is where it could go wrong. This is where you could really mess up, because you either take it back a second day, and the painting, especially painting on site all the time, something could move, something could change, the weather could change. Then you have to take it in the studio,
rework areas,
rework it, and that's when you can either overwork it or just completely mess it up. I mean, Sickert talks about that to his students, about going out. And now he used to say to them, and now go and destroy it. You go and destroy all the work and the hard drawing, and then they mess it up by applying the paint. So the early stages, it looks quite exciting, and you've got this fresh idea.
And when it's pencil and it's all fluid,
it's just charcoal. I use charcoal.
I
use little charcoal sticks, and then
you'd be sketching out on the blank canvas.
I just grid it. I paint sort of visually, and allowing size correctiveness to happen, so things in the foreground
to the perspective,
I mean, in reality, this bridge is slightly bigger, I think, if I was to actually scale it up. But I think that's what's important, is to take it. If you walk there, the bridge looks enormous. If you scale everything up exactly,
it would be out of the
it doesn't look as big to you. See, so,
and also, as an artist, that's what you're doing. You're creating a composition that works to the eye, that is of interest to people.
Because everything we look at, your eye adjusts. This is what's for me, painting outside is important. Is that you're constantly allowing your eye to look at the image and pick up what it's registering. So if you're looking into this part on site, you can see through and you can pick up all the bridges and what have you. If you take a photograph and you work entirely from that,
you wouldn't capture.
You don't see it. You don't catch that distance, because your eye can correct itself within this area. And it can pick up all the contrast. And as soon as you move to the shadow, which normally would be very, very dark, this area is very, very dark tonally in a photograph, your eye adjusts. So you're constantly adjusting, and then you look back at the bridge, and the bridge looks a lot darker than it actually is, because you've got the contrast of the light behind it. So that's what I like, is the playing around with things like that.
Well, I'll leave you to it then. Carry on, do a little bit more.